crash it, and then start us off. And what's with that look?
I like monthly Ketchup.
Monthly Ketchup.
I think that's what I'm gonna call the show. And then spell ketchup like the food.
Monthly Ketchup. All right. I'll go with it. Let's do it. Let's get the ketchup going. Smother it on there. Just smother it.
Because it's takoyaki. Now I can put some ketchup on it.
That's a disgusting taco, man. I don't even want to eat that taco. Oh, that's just gross.
What's up, people? This is Big D from Takoyaki Anime.
Shade here. What's up?
And we're going to be doing something. We're going to start a new show. I think I'm going to call it Monthly Catch-Up, where we'll watch, we'll report to people what shows that we've been watching, whether it's new series or other shows that we need to catch up on.
Because, you know, there's a long list of those.
Yeah.
Just a little. Just a little. Big D more than me. I'm way caught up more than he is.
Yeah, my Crunchyroll queue is like 200. Yeah. So first show I have on my monthly catch-up is Fruit of Grisaia. Now, we talked about the show in one of our last videos, and it's a harem show, but it's a little bit different than most harems, where it's a little more dark, a little more gritty. And I finished the season for this.
I'm close. I've only got a couple.
Yeah, the last arc. And I don't know. There's this show. I say this show has actually gotten to me with things that happen to the characters, because it's one show where they actually develop the characters and I actually feel for them. So if anything bad happens to them, I actually feel bad for them. So with the finale of this series, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of threw my mood out a little bit. So I'm kind of waiting for the next season to get going.
So it is going to have a next season.
Yes. As you see, they revealed some new characters, and they kind of went off to explain backstory, but then they come back.
Wait, there's like new characters like towards the very end of it.
Well, you've seen them. Like you're at the last arc, so you know the sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I think during the season they mentioned his sister a few times, and then now they actually show her, but you can't really...
the way you were describing it, it's like, oh, hey, look, hey, at the very end, here's more people. Just explain all these more people.
But yeah, without saying too much, they you get to know his little sister, and then the show ends and they leave a lot of stuff. They don't really resolve a lot of things. So it's set for another season. So I can't wait for that to start. I think it's going to start not spring, but summer. So 3 more months to wait.
Awesome. Well, for me, recently I just finished Akame ga Kill. Yeah. I was pretty well correct on what my assumption for that show was because, good lord, did people die? I mean, just like with the Fruit of Grisaia, they develop these characters, you feel for there's relationships going on, you're like, alright, cool. And then people die, and you're like, oh, man, I like that person, or I wanted those to... And don't get me wrong, it's pretty obvious as things going on, but I didn't even, towards the end there, some things happen, and I'm like, I didn't even expect all that did die to die. I'm like, holy crap. Who's left? I mean, it was bad. God damn it, did I want Esdeath to be better than what she was. I was like, there was something going on there. Um, don't get me wrong, Akame was a great character, and I thought she'd have been good with Tetsue, but Esdith was just there was something in me that wanted the two of them to get together, and it kind of happened, but not quite. So, yeah, it was kind of a weird situation, it really was.
Okay.
So, not too spoiling anything, but I see why they had to do it, but what happened with the Emperor, I'm like, really? I get it, but damn, so it definitely had some a little bit twists there, especially towards the end, where I was kind of like, okay, I'm with you, but wow. Which I guess is a sign of a good anime in general, when it can at least surprise you in that sense. So
yeah. Okay. How long is that one? Is it 24?
24, yeah, 24
Okay.
episodes.
Okay.
You gotta power through it, man. You gotta power through it. Just they try to just don't get those connections with the characters. Just don't do it. I know how you do that.
I have horrible luck with favorite characters, so
Yeah, don't do it.
yeah.
I'm warning you ahead of time. It's not a good thing.
Well, a lot of times my favorite character dies in episode 1, so
Yeah.
I I don't know. I
I can totally see you're going to get a favorite character. I can see it. They will die. I'm telling you now. Just to warn you. I can already see at least a few of them. You're going to be like, I like that person. You're going to be like, oh.
okay.
Now I'm sad.
I'm probably gonna go into that show like a brick. Be like, I don't like nobody.
They'll force you. They will force you. You say that now, and they'll be like, nah, I like that person. It's interesting in the way that they portray it, because even the bad guys, with how bad they are, and they are bad, they murder and everything, and it's not for all of them. It's only a select few. Um, they even the bad guys, they're not necessarily. You kind of feel for them. That's surprising for my part. I'm like, I kind of like that. I mean, it's like, I like that person. I know they're horrible because they kill and maim and destroy, but I still don't think they're all that bad. So it's like, oh. So even the bad guys, when they die, you're like, oh, damn. I knew it was going to happen, but damn. You know?
Yeah.
Like, damn, I don't want that. Why is everyone... Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, it was...
Okay, that looks promising.
It is. The reason why it earned my top 5 pick, even though I hadn't even fully finished it at the time, it was still... It's a good one, it really is.
Okay. So, my second show is Aldnoah Zero. I'm not really big on mech shows, and because they're really military based, and there's a lot of technical terms in some of them, but this one, I actually really like the characters, and not a lot of people like it because of the main character. He's kind of very boring and calculated, and
I hate characters that are like that.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the calculation part's cool and all, but the just boring and just... You have to have an interesting main character, something.
Yeah. And at the end of the first season, I was torn because something happened and 2 people might have died, but of course they left it on the cliffhanger, so I had to wait 3 months to find out what happened.
I swear they do that stuff to us on purpose.
Yeah. And now I know what happened.
Let's just end it.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, no! And it's... So I liked... Yeah, I like the main 3 characters. Well, 3 of the main characters. And they all got into this big altercation, and a lot of people got shot. And 2 of them probably died, but you don't know until the next season. And I was upset because two of the people might have died, and if they died, I would deal with it. But if they didn't die, then I kind of feel like it would be a cop out because
So you don't want them to be dead, but you want them to be dead because that would just ruin things if they were.
Well, because everything always has to be a happy ending. You can't kill off really main important characters because people will be sad. And I'm like, me, I was sad. Huh?
Don't watch Akame got killed.
Yes. That's funny how these
they
two
don't
shows
follow
take
by
like
that
each other.
playbook at all.
So yeah, I want a story to do that. Like I wanted like the story rides on these main three characters, and two of them are probably dead. And then the show ends, and you're like, what the hell? And you're pissed off at this one dude, but you understand him, so you see why he did it. Because he's one of the people who are like, there's the Earthlings and there's the Martians. And he is an Earthling, but somehow, I can't remember why, but he ended up going to the Martian ship and like crashing into it. And then he ended up being a captive. And they didn't kill him, but they kind of made him like a slave, I guess. And then when he comes back to Earth, they're like, everybody's like, Martian, and they shoot him down. So
what?
Yeah, he doesn't really have like a place to be. It's like
did he like grow antenna or like become pale skin or something?
Everybody's all humanoid, so they can't.
Why did he just all of a sudden become human and now, or he was human and then like, oh look, he was up there with them. Now all of a sudden he's a Martian.
Yeah,
anyway.
with the story, it's like this. I guess the ancient humans went to Mars. I guess because they had this special power and they lived on Mars and they messed up Mars. So they're like, okay, well, let's go back to Earth and take that over because we're better than the people who are already on Earth. And so there's this whole like, we're better than you because we can have these special powers and all that. And I don't know. It's the first episode, something happens to the princess and the Martians go crazy. They're like, oh my god, you killed our princess. And they like come down and like crash in all these major cities and like start blowing up everything and all the space. They're just like, ah! And I'm like, that's the first episode. I'm like, what the? So I'm like, I gotta watch more, of course. And then you find out that it's one of the Martians planned it to give them an excuse to attack Earth and take it over. But then they fight back, and like the whole show takes place of this war between the Earthlings and the former Earthlings who are now Martians. And that dude just got caught up in it. I don't know why he ended up going up there, but he ended up going up there and then living with them. And he was taking care of the princess. So he has feelings for the princess, and apparently she got assassinated. So he's all pissed, and he comes down there to like get revenge for her. But then he sees that she's not dead. So he's like, oh my god, thank you. But then everybody's like fighting. They're like, Martian. And they like start shooting at him. And then he ends up going back up there where they like treat him horrible and beat him and all that kind of stuff. But then it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's like these people treat you like crap.
But at least they're not trying to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. So you feel for him. Like when they get into that fight, it's like he really feels loyal to the princess. He couldn't care less about the humans because they hate him now, and he couldn't care less about the Martians because they treat him like crap. So he's like, I'm for the princess. And because the princess is with this group of Earthlings that are trying to help her and get her back home, or at least get her somewhere where she can communicate without like being in danger of being attacked. So because he can't get close to her without them shooting him down, he kind of he's like losing hope. And then something happens with the Martians where they're like, hey, they're treating me better. So it's not so bad up here anymore. So since you're kind of like warming up to me finally, I'm gonna fight for you. Like, you gave me a new ship and all this kind of stuff because they blew up my last ship. So, and then I think he like got promoted or something like that. So like he's like, okay, it's not so bad being a Martian anymore because they're treating me better. So this altercation happens at the end where it's the princess, the main guy that's been practicing protecting the princess, and the dude I was just talking about, his name's Slain, and they all get into this altercation, and like two people get shot, and like you think they might be dead, and if they die and the story goes on, then I'll be okay with it. It sucks, but I'll be okay with it. But then if they bring him back to life, I'm like, yay, but it's predictable. I want them to like do something like different.
I guess I can understand that. It's funny where you're like, I want them to be alive, but I don't. I want them to be dead.
Yeah. And like the guy that shoots everybody, it's like I don't know. You're pissed off at him because you probably just killed two people, but then you're like, I understand why you did it. So I can't be completely mad at you, and I don't know. But I don't know. I don't like what it. I don't know.
Alright, well.
I need to watch the rest. What I want to do is like wait, because I saw part of what they did, and so I'm gonna wait until at least half the series is done, so I can like watch 6 episodes in a row and get caught up, and then I'll decide then if I like what they've done.
Fair enough.
So.
Well, next for me is I just actually recently caught up with Log Horizon. That has been. I know, it's on your list. But yeah, I recently caught up with Log Horizon. God, it's just, I love this show so much, and not just because I feel for the main character, kind of like him, but just the. It goes so much into just the way things, not to detract from Sword Art, which I went over before in my top 5 review or whatever, but I love how the game aspects are becoming more and more real with them, and how things are having more and more consequences. I mean, first it was just the NPCs just becoming more human, so they didn't have just, their regular dialogue, or they actually had lives and stuff like that, and began to act more like humans. And then in the recent one, again, it's not really spoiling anything, but the how like different gear will have flavor text to them, so they'll say different things or whatever. It's basically kind of like backstory for your weapons or your armor or whatever. Well, now this flavor text, which was only supposed to be just flavor, just to spice it up for whatever you're wearing or whatever you're using, it's actually having consequences. So, like, if this flavor text talked about how this came from some sort of, like, evil, demonic person, that thing will now start to have that effect on that weapon or that piece of armor that you have.
Wow.
So it now actually becomes dangerous to even have that particular piece of weapon or armor.
So it's like, this sword was stolen from this one person, and then all of a sudden that person shows up and tries to steal it back from you.
Yeah, well, and just like, and again, it's not to spoil anything, but they had like one of their fun little episodes, which was like a Valentine's episode, and basically there was a fruit that they had that basically, if you ate this fruit, according to the flavor text, if you ate this fruit, whoever ate it on this day would then profess who they love, is what they said.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, the 2 girls that are there that have this thing for Shiro try to get him to eat the fruit and say who he loves. So, but I mean, and it actually has an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he ate it, all of a sudden, like, he changed, like, colors of his skin or whatever, and all of a sudden, he confessed what he loved, but funny enough, it was a short thing, but basically like someone came in right when he ate it and asked what they were having for dinner, and he jumps up and says he loves curry. So I mean, but see, that's the thing. It's like they're taking aspects from things that we know as gamers and things that we've seen in games in the past,
Mhm.
and they're giving it new and interesting twists.
Okay.
So that's something I really enjoy from the series. I mean, and the other thing is the characters are just phenomenal. I mean, they're really as they're progressing, you're seeing them grow as individuals, and they learn new things, and things kind of evolve as it goes. So, really, and all truly, I think it's just phenomenal. I'm really enjoying it. So, I'm there's a lot going on right now. I'm like on episode 16 or 17. I'm looking at it going, well, there's supposed to be 25 episodes. I have no idea how they're going to wrap this up unless they're like, okay, new season. Because honestly, they could just continue this, and I would watch the hell out of it. I really would. So.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna have to get back to that.
Hell yeah, you got to get back to that. Awesome show.
Alright. My next show is Parasyte. I like the way this show is going. When I watched the trailer, I thought it was going to be a gore fest, and for the first episode, there was a lot of gore, and
From what I've seen, there's a lot of gore in that.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be wrong. I haven't seen. My roommate only got me to see like a very short snippet of it, where they see him going into a building and just murderizing like the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Which was cool and all, but I'm just like, good lord, he's just decimating all of them.
Yeah. And that part was a shock, because that came out of, well, if you could, I guess, if you if you remember what that group of people were doing, then it doesn't come to a shock. But me, I'm watching so many shows that I forget what every character is doing in every show. So for me, that was a shock. I'm used to one-on-one skirmishes, or one-on-two, or two, well, one-on-one, and the second person shows up and they're like, oh no, and everything gets all messed up. But then all of a sudden it was like 1-on-50, and he just like destroyed everybody.
Oh, I've watched too many of them over the years that happens quite often.
Yeah. So, I like the main character, how he's struggling to stay himself, and I like the little thing, how it might not, I guess it's changing its behavior because it's starting to learn the host's personality, or what's left of it. And it's cool how, like, before he was like, don't tell anybody or I will kill them. And then he is talking to it and is like, you can't kill humans. I just can't. I can't do it. So, there was one part where something didn't go the way that they wanted, and they fought back and forth, and because they didn't end the situation right there, it turned into a huge problem, and they ended up finally working together and to resolve it. And I don't know. I like how it's like a slow, gradual changes in character, and I don't know. I like it. It's a fun ride for a show. It's not as much gore as I thought. Like, every now and then they'll blast you with some, but then other times it's just character development. So I like it.
So how many episodes is that one?
I think it's up to like 16 maybe. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna. I don't know. If they don't deal, there's like a lady and a group of people. If they don't deal with that anytime soon, I can see it going into the third season. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else, any loose ends floating around. So
unless they create one.
Yeah, like freaking Kudo. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm liking Parasyte. I don't know. It's
Not
just
to
going.
derail, not to derail too far from the subject, but looking at Crunchyroll, why the hell is there a forum page about sex on here? Is this about anime? Where are we going here? I'm missing out something here because this is just like you're going through, you're looking at anime. Next thing you know, forum sex. What?
If you got so many shows about boobs and butts, you gotta talk about it anyway. Sometime.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Uh, well, next one from me on mine. I have Durarara.
Uh,
Yeah. um, obviously, Big D over there hasn't been paying attention with that one.
I got. So I've seen the first episode, but it took me a while to actually watch it. Like I was hyped for it. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch it. And then I watched part of it, and I didn't recognize a bunch of people. So I'm like, okay. Actually, no. I started. I didn't know that the first season was on Crunchyroll. So
Yeah.
yeah, I put it in. I turned it on. I pushed play, and I'm like, oh, they have the same intro as last time. And then I'm watching it, and then he starts narrating. I'm like, I already know this. I'm like, I know that too. I'm like, I don't want to skip because I might skip it, jump right into something. So I waited, and I'm like, no, this is the first. I went back and like looked at the episode, the way everything was laid out. And I'm like, oh, the way the Crunchyroll app on Roku works is it'll show all the episodes going across, and then season 2 will be above it. But you won't know that until you push up. And if there's no season 2, it'll kick you out of the show. But if it is episode 2, a second season, you'll go to the second season. So after fighting with the way it's laid out, I figured out that was season 1, and I started season 2. And I pushed play, and I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't remember a bunch of characters. So I'm like, what is the quickest way that I can refresh my memory? So I'm like, I'm going to read the synopsis. So I put it up on my phone, and for some reason it wouldn't show the whole synopsis. So I pulled it up on my computer, I think, and I read the synopsis for each one. And the synopsis is like 2 paragraphs long. So I'm just like, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Next episode. Oh yeah. Okay. Now, And I was doing that for like 10 minutes. I read the synopsis for like 24 episodes. And I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. And I go back and watch it again, and I remember some things, and I still don't remember a whole bunch. So now I have to go back and watch the whole thing, take like 8 hours to just catch completely up and revisit old memories and stuff like that, and then I'll watch it.
Well, I can at least say it wouldn't be a wasted 8 hours because
No.
it's a good series regardless.
Yeah. So I gotta set some time aside for that because that's one thing that I really want to do now. Now that the second season's underway, and
Oh yeah.
it's like popping up memories and stuff. I'm like, so I gotta do that before I can catch up.
Character-wise, I have to say at least, I'm like, come on, just love God, just leave Celty alone. She's, I mean, the cop from the first season is still after her. I'm like, good lord, go away. She's not bothering you. Just stop. And then it's just the freaking husband or the father from the guy that she's with is still like trying to dissect her and
Yeah.
figure out the way she worked. And now he has a wife, and I'm like,
Dad has a
who's
wife?
crazy? Yeah, the
Oh,
dad
okay.
now is remarried.
Okay.
Surprised the hell out of the son. And I'm like, it surprised the hell out of me. I'm like, who the heck went and married him? That's just, he's weird.
She might be crazier than him.
She kind of is. She kind of
Okay.
She's pretty weird. And I think she plays off of his weirdness a lot too, so. But, yeah, I'm just like, oh, God, I feel for Celty. I'm like, she doesn't have her head. Leave her alone. Isn't she gone through enough? But then the new characters they add in there too, because the main just bad guy a-hole that's through the whole first season, he apparently has two sisters, twins, and they're very. They fit in well with everyone else because they're very weird. They like since they're twins, even though they look different, because they do. I mean, they're about the same height, but they have different hair color. They style it differently and whatnot. But they go so far to not be the same. They've adopted different personalities for each other. That way, they're at complete two total opposite ends of the spectrum. So you got one sister who is really shy, doesn't talk a lot, but her dress, she wears PE clothes. That is her regular clothing that she wears. So she's like way far out there in looks, but her personality is way closed off.
What?
Then you have the other sister who's really outgoing. She is just chatterbox talking all the freaking time. And like she will say everything. Like her introduction was like, I'm into guys and girls. And I'm like, okay. She's like, but I already have a guy that I like, so, but you ladies, I'll be interested in any of you. I'll take as many as you. I'm like, oh, damn, okay. But then her dress is like very conservative.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Okay. But they're definitely their sister's brother. They're definitely because God, they can get into some mischief, to say the least.
Okay.
But yes, I'm going really well so far, and I'm highly looking forward to seeing what happens coming up. So.
Okay. I'm gonna have to catch up soon.
Oh yes, you are. There's some craziness. They've already introduced a new, and going to characters as well. They already introduced a new supernatural character as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, because you have Celty and you have I can't remember her name, but the girl with the glasses who has the cursed sword.
Yeah.
You have her. I mean, and now there's another. Well, and I guess you could kind of say the bartender dude is too, because that strength is just beyond anything. I love it because he just wreaks havoc, and I'm like, yes, throw it. I mean, come on, how many of you people wanted to throw like park benches at people? I know I wanted to. That'd be awesome. But yeah, now they introduced another one, and I'm like, this is cool. So.
Okay. Alright, so my next show is The Sister New Devil. Let me see, what is the actual title of it?
Come on, get it right.
Yeah, Testament of the Sister New Devil.
I saw that one. I just wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to watch that one.
No. You don't want to watch it. So, like Trinity 7, they derailed the story a little bit for Acchi, but they kind of break the train and leave it off for a while, and then they just dive way too far. and then they come back. I think I don't know if it's episode 2 or episode 3, and
Well, they're only up to episode 4 now, I think. Yeah, 4 episodes.
yeah, and I don't. It's the first episode. I'm like, they do some stuff. I'm like, typical anime. It's blah blah blah. In the second episode, they're like, I wonder how far we can push it. And there's one scene where like there's like a blue streak like across most of the screen, and she's all moaning and crap, and I'm like, I'm about to skip, which is bad, but with the Crunchyroll app, I can't like skip like I can't skip like 15 seconds like it used to be able to. I have to like hold down fast forward, and then I don't want to fast forward past the end. Like I don't want to when they start getting back to the story, I don't want to like skip past it. And I'm like, crap. Then I gotta rewind back, and then I jump back into the middle of the ecchi scene. So I'm like, I just gotta suffer through it. But I'm like, they haven't done it tastefully yet. There's other shows that do it much more tasteful, and this one is just
to let everyone know, it's not saying that we have anything bad against potentially ecchi, because there are definitely a lot of animes who do the ecchi deal in business, but it's to say that you gotta do it well. You gotta do it where it's not overly much, or if you're gonna do it overly much, make sure it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That way it's just funny.
Yeah.
Like, gonna throw this out here, but I at least thought Kiss X Sis was just a hilarious. I mean, it was, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because it was wrong on so many levels.
Yes.
But it was funny.
Yes, because they knew exactly what they were doing. They're like, we're not even gonna try to hide it. This is what this show is about. And we are gonna turn it up to freaking 11. You know what? We're gonna turn it up to 12. You know what? We broke the knob off, so we can't even turn it back down.
So many things in that. I'm like, really? Holy crap. But it was so funny when they did it. You're like, oh, God.
Yeah. So
there's ways of doing it well, and there's ways of doing it not well. And it just seems that animes recently, in recent memory, they're just not doing it as well.
Yeah. And like they might be aiming for a certain demographic that I've probably aged out of now, but there are some shows that do it classy and keep it up. So, but yeah, I like the story in Sister New Devil. Let's see. There are heroes and demons, and the two girls are demons, and they try to take over the main character's house, but then you find out that he's a hero, so she tries to cast a spell on him, and he cancels it, and later on it's revealed that those two heroes were kind of kicked out of the hero club, because I can't remember the exact reason why, but they end up taking in the two devils because people are after them. And I'm like, that is cool. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it's cool. It's a guy taking care of people in need, and I like it's a good thing to do. It's just I don't need to see boobs and butts the whole show. So yeah.
Ass, titties, ass and titties, ass and titties, ass and titties. And I'll go on this. Getting into things that just weren't the way they should be, and I'm hoping this isn't going to be a continuation thing. It hasn't happened very often, but they have, what was it? I can't understand what my husband is saying. This seems really funny, and I like to watch it because it's those awkward moments that I'm sure a lot of us know about, where you're trying to explain something to somebody who doesn't understand otaku logic or whatever, doesn't understand animes, doesn't understand all these like terms and stuff, and you're just like, oh my god, you're annoying as hell. So, but the animes are like 8 minutes long. I'm like, how am I gonna get invested in these animes and these characters when I'm only with you for like 8 minutes, of which like a minute in the beginning and a minute at the end is their opening and closing. So
Yeah.
really, it's like 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so I mean, I appreciate a fast pace, but God, that's a little too fast. Can we slow it down a little and actually like explain a little, maybe? Don't just like fire off the jokes like a freaking turret gun or something. Let's actually like take our time a little bit with them.
There is a show that literally does that. I thought it was about tennis, but then most of it wasn't, and it's called Teekyuu. And oh my god, it's like joke, punchline, joke, punchline, joke, punchline, joke, punchline, joke, punchline, joke, punchline, episode over. I'm like, wow! I think I blinked. I can't. So it's like, I have to sit there, and it's like, line pause. Okay. Play pause. Okay. That wasn't, okay. Play pause. Play pause. Okay, that's a stupid joke. Play pause. Okay, play pause. I don't understand that one. Play pause. Play pause. Okay, that's funny. And I can't watch a show like that.
No.
But then
it just ruins it.
And with that, how they're doing more shorter content shows, I think there's two different ways you can do it. Well, there's one that does it well, and it's the encouragement of the climb. It's like the school girls like climbing mountains, not like cliffhanger where you're like click click and climbing up the side of the mountain, but like walking up mountain paths and stuff like that. And I haven't watched all of this. I haven't watched the second season yet, so they might actually get to the more advanced mountains where they actually pull out the gear and the ropes and all that kind of stuff. But it's a show that you get sucked into, and then it's over, and you're like, that was only like 5 minutes, but I was gone. I was there with them. So you can do it like that, or there's another show called From Here to There, or Acchi Kocchi, and each episode is in 2 parts, and it's an A part and a B part. And right when it switches over, it does like a cassette tape, how they used to say side A and side B. So yeah. They'd always use like this cool typography style where as soon as it goes to commercial break, it like flips over or like spins, and you can tell that it's going to like a completely different story. So like with a show like that, I feel like they can put like 2 or 3 pieces, maybe even 4, depending on how short the stuff is. But they can do it all in like they can do it in a full episode length, or maybe just put a whole bunch and make like 3 movies or something.
I just felt like the ones that they had, I'm like, you could easily take these 8-minute bites or 6-minute bites basically that you have and just throw them all together. Make it one episode. There have been animes out there. What was it? Broken Sword. Broken Sword was literally 6 episodes. Which I was following with it till the very end. And for those of you out there, just fair warning, Broken Sword is really good up till the very end. They totally dropped the ball on the ending. I mean, that was horrible. I'm like, why? You were good until then. Why did you just ruin it? But they could do that. I wouldn't even care if it was just a 6-episode long thing. But just to have, you have to wait 1 week for each of these 6-minute bites. Yeah. I'm like, really? You're killing me. So, yeah, things like that. I'm like, nah. I'm hoping this is not going to be a trend for animes if they're going to start doing stuff like that. I really hope not. I hope I don't see more of those type because it's horrible.
I look forward to the good ones that do that, but with those, I definitely am not gonna follow week by week.
But see, I don't think that there are that many of them that actually do that well. So,
yeah.
in that sense, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if they did it well. But considering that they don't, probably more or less inclined to say just try not to do it at all.
Yeah. There was a really silly gag one that got 2 seasons. So I'm not sure if it's because they had that much content and they just spread it out, or they did the first season and got redoed for the second season. But Encouragement of the Climb, that was the one I used for my first example. I'm pretty sure they did the first season and then people loved it, so they got greenlit for like a second season. So it can be good. Watching on a week by week basis is hard because it's only 6 minutes, but I don't know. I kind of like that format, but there's a lot. Most of them don't. I can't. I don't know. I don't watch most of them. But yeah. My next show is How to Make a Boring Girlfriend. So like the last show that I was talking about, this one has a little bit of ecchi in it. And it is done. Okay, other than the first episode, because
I was about to say, I watched that part. I'm like, wow, we're just going gratuitous. Just it's there. It's in your face. You can't look away from it.
the first season, like the first episode, they start at a hot spring. So, and
yeah, they broke the anime rule. What's the anime rule? We don't do a hot springs episode till like what, episode 10 or 12 or something.
Like
then we do a hot springs
like the halfway mark once you start liking the characters.
Yeah, then we'll throw them in the hot spring. They broke that rule. They just like, no, we're gonna do the hot springs now.
Yeah, and
right from the beginning.
Yeah, the very first scene. So after that, they start getting into the story, and I don't know. Okay, so with the last show that I was talking about, the sister of the new devil, I'm like, there's 2 main girls. One has giant boobs, and one has small boobs. I know that because they talk about it and they show it all the freaking time. With How to Raise a Boy Girlfriend, I know one of them does because there's this one scene where they're out shooting. They're trying to make a video game and they're out shooting.
You do realize what it is that they're trying to make, right?
Yeah, like a dating game.
Yeah. I think they're a little ecchi on that too. Just for a little bit I saw from that, it sounded like they were trying to go a little ecchi. Maybe I'm wrong, but so we'll see how that goes.
Okay. But what is it? Yeah, so they're going to like different locations trying to get ideas for backgrounds and stuff like that for the game, and it's just a regular show. I'm not looking at boobs or butts or nothing. This is comedy. I like the way I like the dialogue. I like how the characters like interact with each other. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite shows of this season. Then, of course, it's a harem. Well, it's a harem, so of course all of the girls are after the main guy, and you can tell.
Is that really? Because I thought when he was doing, like, again, I only watched the first part of that Zero episode or whatever,
yeah.
But the way he introduced him, it made it sound like he was at least related to one of them. I think he was the cousin to one of them. Like, maybe. He introduces one as his childhood friend, and one as his cousin.
Okay.
So I'm hoping they don't go that way on that because
Well, there's a lot of anime where the sister loves the brother, but
well,
so it's like I can see if she
are we gonna
if
go? Are we gonna go down 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 down? Because we're
so,
talking about cousins here. So I mean, how far are we taking this here?
so I don't remember if she said that there was his cousin. What I remember that they're all kind of pining for him. But if that in fact is his cousin, I wouldn't be surprised because of all of the other sister love brother anime out there. So it wouldn't
I
surprise
suppose.
me. But um, with that,
But
yeah, with that,
but
um, so what is it? Yeah, all of them are after him for the most part, and they're all trying to get him separated from the other ones so they can actually make a move. And everybody fails, of course.
of course.
But one of them um, gets a couple of extra minutes, and I can't remember how he got over there, but she's like in the water, like splashing him and stuff like that, and then she she like grabs him and like body slams him into the water.
Because that's love right there. Let me just pick you up and grapple you to the water. Just
Yeah, and then
ah!
she's like on like basically on top of him,
And
and
let me guess, it's see through.
no,
Oh,
but
okay.
no, but um, the shirt kind of hangs a little bit, so they give you that shot, and
Oh,
that's the only time I actually looked because that was the only thing on the screen. So I know one of the characters has big boobs. But the rest of them, I haven't paid attention to it because I like the way the characters interact with each other, and they're not like boobs in the screen, boobs in the screen. They did it once, and they did it classy because I was all flipped around with him because all of a sudden she just grabbed him. I'm like, what was happening? And I'm like, oh, hi. And then that scene's over. So
oh, hi.
yeah, so
I'm sure that's what he was thinking too. Oh, hi.
yeah, so
How are you? Yeah.
yeah, so I like this series because I love the way the characters interact with each other, and I like the dialogue. And they break the fourth wall a lot, especially in the first episode.
True, true. From what I saw.
Hmm.
Well, moving on to my final one that I'm watching, more or less, and I mean more or less, is Fairy Tale. I just I've been going along with this series. It's an excellent series. I highly recommend anyone who enjoys magic in any sense in their anime. If you're a fan of that type of thing, it's a good watch. There's enough variation, even though you have a lot of there'll be some people who have the same like type of magic more or less, but they'll still be different in their own way, which is cool. Um, but the character development is really cool. I always, unlike a lot of anime where they're like backstory time, and I'm like, oh god, why can we just move along,
Or
please?
filler
I don't
time.
want. Yeah, you're like, really? Come on. This one I don't mind because the characters themselves are so unique in what they do, how they do, that when they go, okay, backstory time, I'm like, I want to know. What is it about these characters that makes them this way? And then even the backstories are unique and interesting in their own ways too. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some that are very, you're like, oh, I can see that one coming a mile away. But then there are a couple of them that are like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. I enjoy that. So, um, definitely enjoy the character development for them.
I haven't seen any of that. And isn't it like 100 episodes or something like that?
Oh well, that was the first season.
Okay.
Yeah, like the first season, what was it? 175
Okay.
for the first season, and the second season is up to 42 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, they ain't got nothing on like Naruto and One Piece, especially One
One,
Piece.
yeah.
Yeah, ain't nothing got anything on that one.
Yeah. Like somebody, I was listening to somebody and they're like, probably 1,000 episodes.
Oh, easily,
Yeah.
easily. My roommate's watching that one. I'm like, I'm glad I never really jumped into that one because I would just be like, oh my god, really? Why? I want to watch other ones. Go away.
I tried to watch that one on um Toonami,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
don't ever do that. Why did you do
well,
that?
because it was a brand new show.
No.
Yeah, I was.
It's
Where was I? Think I was. Dang, I was like what, 7 years ago?
just don't ever watch them on that. It's just that's horrible. I tried watching Bleach on that. That was the worst mistake I ever made.
I I don't know. It's like I wouldn't have discovered that show unless I saw it on Toonami, and
Mm.
I don't know. It's it's like with Dragon Ball Z. I don't know. It has this American twist for like the intro and all that kind of stuff, and the voices. I don't know. I just can't. I just can't.
Now,
I watched it and I'm like, this is a cool story, and then I never came back to it. Just like with many, 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 many other shows.
oh yeah, I know.
And now
You're
that I
you're,
know
you're
that this show is, isn't it like around episode 600 or something like that?
oh hell, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's like, now that this show is so big, and I've only seen the first episode, I can't go back to it. It's too much. I got so many other shows I gotta watch first. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Your incomplete list is way larger than mine.
I'm only halfway done.
Yeah, I know. For those of you who don't know, we do have the my anime list, and yeah, I've completed mine, though I probably have missed some along the way. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, Big D over there.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know how you like powered through the whole thing in like 4 hours.
Oh, it took me more than that. What are you talking about? It's
Oh,
probably a
okay.
good, at least 6 to 7 hours.
Oh, okay. But God, it was.
Oh, I just looked it up, by the way. One Piece is on 679.
Yep. Yeah, that's.
679. No, thank you.
There's another show that I'm watching, and I'm on episode what 48 of 99, and even that is too big for me to come back to right now. So I'm like, that's a day. I'm like, I got Durarara to watch. And I'm like, that's 8 hours right there. So I'm like, 600?
Yeah.
That is months. And I don't
Oh.
have months.
I barely have days. I'll power through them, but I can't power through that. No, thank you.
Yeah. So, but speaking of power, the next show I have is called Rolling Girls. And
Because that has power in the title, absolutely.
no, they have this crazy fighting show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, it's silly. Um segue. But
Trust me, it worked. It worked beautifully. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
Worked
anybody
beautifully.
who's watched the show.
Oh, sure. Rub that in.
But yeah, so Rolling Girls is I have so many stories in my head. But this one is Japan, and it's divided up into a bunch of different groups, and each divided into a bunch of different areas, and each area has a group that controls it, and they're fighting other groups to expand their territory. And the fights are really like super overpowered, and
We talking like DBZ overpowered here?
way like more than DBZ.
Oh, good lord.
Well, I guess on the scale of DBZ, but because of the animation style is so different, it's like DBZ, somebody will just blow up a mountain, and you're like, oh my god, the mountain's gone. But with this show, somebody will just slam their fist into the ground, and like the ground will just shatter, and like all the buildings and stuff next to you will crumble, and there's like so much detail and everything. So even though Dragon Ball Z, they just blew up a mountain, this person punched a hole in the ground in like a 30-foot radius. Everything got destroyed. So it's you see more stuff getting destroyed.
You know, I kind of looked it up real quick, and I'm looking at like one of the pictures, I think the cover for it or whatever, and I'm like, what you just described and what they show right there look like they have nothing to do with each other. Not a thing. I'm like, that looks all like cutesy. You got the girls just kind of standing around, and none of them look like they're about to just pummel the ever-loving crap out of each other or something. So that's what I hate about animes in general. When they're like, if you ever read a plot point for these animes, or if you try to look at the pictures and decide whether or not you want to invest the time in watching it based upon that, because either A, the plot point is so vague, you're like, but when you watch it, you're like, how did that have anything to do with what I just read right there? Because don't even get me started on Myself, Yourself. I read the plot point for that, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like a nice slice of life story. Yeah. And then looking at the animation on that, and the little cover that they show for Rolling Girls, I'm like, that looks like it's just a nice day at the park. And you're talking about like DBZ style like destruction. Yeah. So I'm like, what the heck?
Which are you looking at, the Crunchyroll version?
No, I'm looking at Wikipedia.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay, I see the picture you're talking about.
See, that looks like it has nothing to do with what you just described.
Yes. So, this takes place at the end of episode 2. Like a whole bunch of crazy stuff happens and the crazy fights, and then all of a sudden you see all 4 of them and they're on bikes. And that's where I left off. So pretty sure it's gonna get all crazy again, but yeah, that's just a snapshot.
Why do they do that? So confusing. I have a hard enough time understanding, a lot of times the Japanese names on these anything, and then you have a nice name like Rolling Girls. You're like, oh yeah, it's, hey. If somebody told me the name, what you described would not even have entered my thought. I would have thought like, what are we talking about, like roller derby or something like that? That's what I would have thought.
Yeah, because they're on bikes.
Yeah, no, I get it now that is. But
I get the title because of this picture.
Yeah. I got it, but it's like, Anyways, go ahead.
Let's see. One of the fighters in the show is named Matcha Green, and it's like a kind of a Power Ranger looking character.
Oh God.
And
Don't tell me it's a Green Ranger. Oh God.
Then there's this other she looks like somebody. She looks like another character who was She's like another bad guy from another show. I can't remember what character. But when she showed up, I'm like, oh, it's what's her name from that other show. But most likely.
I know you. What are you doing here?
Yeah. And she has a giant safety pin. And she like fights with it. It's like almost the size of her body.
Holy crap!
It's
a safety. Well, you know what? I take that back. I'm thinking I'm like, this is ridiculous. But then again, I just finished watching Akame Got Kill, where one of the characters, their weapon fighting relic or whatever, is a giant pair of scissors.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, you gotta kill a kill.
But still, scissors at least sounds more lethal than a safety pin.
Yeah. And I kept looking at it. I'm like, I haven't seen a safety pin in a while. But I think that's a safety pin. I'm like, and it's a huge safety pin.
So
I'm like,
you know
I'm waiting for her to like click the little thing and like pull out the point. I don't know what she would do with that, but I know that's what safety pins do, or put a diaper.
I almost want to watch it
baby.
just to. I almost want to watch it just to see what she does with it, even with it. So I mean, just like, how do you even fight with that?
It's basically like a bat for her, but
there are better bats than that. She has a giant hole for bat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, even if she like clicks the little, I'm like, is she gonna like put a diaper on a giant baby or something? I don't know. I'm like, I don't
We're
get
going
the whole safety pin.
way other territories in that one.
Yeah. Safety pin is like way out of left field. They might have said something that I don't know. It was, but fighting is so cool. So yes, I'm looking very much forward to that. But yeah, I'd say this is my second favorite show this season so far.
You know, it's funny. Both of us were really hyped for it, but neither one of us has watched Tokyo Ghoul yet.
I couldn't find it because I was dumb.
Hey, I didn't say it.
I watched the whole first season on Funimation, and for some reason, I thought they would have like made another group for season 2, and then just put the episodes in there. But I realized that no, they just put episode 13 in the first one and changed the picture. Because the Roku app for the Funimation app on Roku is designed badly. I like the control. I like the video controls, but the app is dumb, and they need to get their whole queue system right, because I can open it up on the tablet and put some shows in my queue, and then I go to they just updated it recently. But before, I'd go to the Funimation app on Roku, and I'm like, okay, let me watch something from my queue. I open up the queue, and the queue is empty. I'm like, okay, let me go add some stuff through Funimation, through this app, because apparently there's two different queues. So I go to a show, I'm like, add the queue, and then they're like, think, and it's like, this show's been added to the queue. I'm like, cool. So I exit back out, I go down to the queue, and then I open it up, and it's like, there's nothing in here. I'm like, I just added the show. So that wasn't working. And recently they updated it, and they moved the queue to the top, just like a lot of other apps. So I go up the queue, and I saw some stuff in there. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is all old stuff. The stuff that I added like months and months ago, it remembers that I added it. So it was actually in there. I'm like, oh, now I can actually get to these shows that I added. So I'm like, okay, well, I finished this, and that, and I deleted those, then I went down, and I added some more to the queue, and then I went back up, and some of them were missing. So I'm like, maybe it takes a while. So then I exited the app, and then I went back inside, and I went to the queue, and it was empty. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like, okay, let me try this again. Go back in. I added like 3 or 4, and went up there, and all 3 or 4 were there. I'm like, okay, cool. And go back down, add some more, because no. So I go back up, and then the stuff that I just added wasn't there, but the first 4 were there. So I'm like, you know what? The queue is still broken. So forget that. Now go back to the way I was doing it. So they have recent shows, and basically the newest season, and the stuff from the shows that they've added recently would be the first couple, and then they have like a list of like 750. I don't know why it was that big, but it's like a list of 750 shows, and then I just go through the first 5 or 10 that they've licensed this season, and I just do that. Well, since Tokyo Ghoul came out, it wasn't last season, right? Or was this?
No, it was season before that.
Yeah, so they skipped the season. So it's like 15 shows that way, and
Yeah.
I was thinking they just put season 2 at the beginning. So I went through like the first 10 or 12, and I'm like, no, and then old, so I gave up. So I'm like, where's Tokyo Ghoul? And then I go and look, and they're like, they're on episode 4. I'm like, I know, but I can't find it. And then I go back, and I realize they added a new ribbon going across, and it's simulcast. So instead of me going through the recently added shows, I can just go through the simulcast, and like it'll have like 11 shows or something like that. So now I can actually get to Tokyo Ghoul quicker. I just haven't had the time to get there yet.
Like many of them.
But I will, because I am. Wait, what? Did they just show his white hair? No. Did he use the white hair?
Oh no, he had the white hair.
Did.
At the very end.
Wait, didn't he? Did he like bite something and like swallow it and the episode was over? Or the season was over?
Oh, he just went ballistic.
What happened?
He just...
Because he was fighting that dude that was torturing him, right?
Yeah.
And then...
He went freaking ballistic. He lost it. He just snapped. And they ended it right before he was able to like do any like finishing blow or whatever, but you knew it was coming. You're like, oh, he's about to end you.
Okay.
You're gone.
Oh, and then there's a bunch of other stuff going on, because aren't like the other districts like...
Yeah,
people
well,
from other districts are coming to this district, right?
No, it's the police, their attack force squad was raiding this building, while at the same time his friends from his district were trying to come in to rescue him. So there was a raid going on.
Okay.
While at the same time the rescue mission was going on, while at the same time he's beating the ever-living crap out of the torture dude.
Okay.
So yeah, all that's going on at the same time.
And all of that is happening in District 12?
I don't remember which district it was.
Okay. But then...
That's all happening in one building.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think, there's other stuff going on, like, not in their area. Like...
Oh yeah, no, there was other things and other people doing crazy things, and yeah, there's a lot going on.
Because I'm like, weren't they raiding other districts, and like all the super OP people are coming to this district? Or...
Well, no, there was people coming to that district, but they had their own reasons to.
Because what's her name's brother and his group of people,
yeah,
they're all in that building, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm
finally starting to remember.
I think they were separate on their own, so.
Okay. Yeah, it's been like 3 months, so I'm trying to remember what's all going on.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
Okay.
Some craziness is what that is.
I want to finish some shows and knock them off my queue, but I want to watch some of the new stuff. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
You say that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been our what anime catch up for February 2015. I'm gonna try to make this like a monthly thing. I don't know if we're gonna do stuff every month. This month has been kind of light for watching shows, or at least for me, it's been light on having huge opinions on shows. So,
Oh, just wait. You'll start watching some of these other ones, and you'll get those opinions will come. Trust me.
yeah. Okay. Well, this has been Big D.
In shape.
And you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Takoyaki Anime. Then also you can check out our anime lists on my anime list. I'm Takoyaki Big D, and
Yeah, mine's sh_D6. Sorry, I couldn't make it just shade. Sorry.
But yeah, and we might see you next month. But see ya.
Later.